Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Badass Farmer, and today I'm finally going to be showing you guys my blueberry field. So without any further notice, let's get it on. Okay, so what we're looking at right here is the full field of the blueberries, and you're basically looking at about 2 acres worth of blueberries, and this was all planted in late spring, midsummer. We kind of did it late. It was, you know, when we got this property, it was kind of late going in the season, and I really wanted to get these things in the ground to get them growing and get those roots established. So what I did was just try to get them in the ground. It probably took me about, doing it by myself, about a week and a half or so. And to the right of the property, or to the right of the field, is where we're going to be planting additional things. So to the next to that is going to be a field of strawberries, and they're going to have blackberries and raspberries. All that's going to be, well, strawberries are going to be, we're going to be a little while on that, but the blackberries, raspberries is going to be next spring. And then the property line goes back a little bit past that pole barn, that blue one you see there. We're in the process of getting the greenhouse going. So just kind of wanted to give you guys a panoramic view of the farm, so you can kind of get an idea of what we're working with here. And it does go into the woods. There's about 3 acres of woods along with this property. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you a little bit of the spacing that I have on my blueberries. I do apologize for the wind. We are, in the process of using a new camera because the other one just kind of went on the frizz. So unfortunately we don't have that wind mic that helps out with that. But so the berries that we have here, they're dormant right now, so that's why you see them changing a different color. They're normally green. Now we're into November, they're going dormant now, but I got them spaced out 2.5 feet apart from one plant to the other. The rows are from one to the other are about a 9 feet spacing. This is 15 mil poly tubing, and this is something that we also use in the produce, but this is thicker, so this is more for orchard tubing, and it lasts for multiple seasons. The stuff that we use in the produce area, for growing tomatoes, is a 6 mil, and that has to be pulled up at the end of the year. And I know, from what we've always heard, and I've seen practices of people always facing the blue line up, every I think it's every 18 inches there's a hole, and that will emit water, which will work its way down to the roots. The biggest thing with these guys is making sure they stay wet, especially because they're young. They're only 2 years old, and I did that because you get the 10-year-old plants, they're like triple the price, if not more. And for us, we're working on a budget. We just went with the younger ones. It'll take a couple of seasons before they start to produce berries. I mean, I could probably get some, because some of them actually have berries, flowers this season, but I'm pulling them off for the first 2 seasons so I can focus more on the roots and getting the root structure and getting some foliage going. So I'm going to be showing you some other stuff as far as like how we got this whole set up, and we have it in 3 different zones. So this is zone 3, and there's zone 2 and 1, which we can water all at separate times, but for the most part we water them all at the same time. But let me go ahead and show you the valves and the splitters and all that stuff, so you can kind of get an idea of where the water's coming from and how it's getting split up. So let's take a look. So I wanted to show you guys the split up that's going from the main valve, the main water line, into 3 different zones. We got the PVC valves hooked up here. We have the timers, we have a pressure reducer, and basically this is our, it's kind of like the central point before it gets split into the fields for the blueberries. And you got this particular poly tubing that is really good for, it does not freeze. Now the PVC stuff does freeze, so I am going to have to winterize this whole system which I'm going to be doing in the next few days. And they basically have to be in at least 3 feet deep from what people tell me. Now the polytubing I can get away with, you know, a foot in the ground because, you know, they're much more freeze resistant. So let's do a close-up to where we're actually going into the field with the polytubing. Okay, so what you're looking at right here is one of the zones that are beginning to be put into the ground. I still have to kind of finish and get the rest of that in the ground, but as you can see going forward, all you see is coming out of the ground is a drip tape. Like I said, this isn't like, you know, the best way to do it, but it works for now for us. It gets water to the plants, which I really wanted to focus on. And on the other side, I haven't done this one yet. We're in the process of doing, and this is all by hand. I'm actually shoveling this stuff by hand. So one good point I want to make out to you guys is when we put the drip tape in, what we did was we kind of weaved in between every 2 plants. I mean, you could probably do every 1 or every 3, whatever, but one thing that we did try to do is do it in a way so that, you know, it wouldn't blow off easily. Unfortunately, that isn't the best thing because on a windy day it does tend to blow unless you bury it in the ground. Now we are going to be covering it over with wood chips, and the wood chips are composting right now. We've started it in April, I think, and you know, they say, you know, wait about 3-4 months. I want to probably wait a year. I've talked to some soil scientists, and they say, you know, really the best stuff is after a year. So I really wanted to put weed cloth. As you can see, you do see some weeds growing in here. All this stuff I pulled out either by hand or with a hoe. So as you can imagine, you know, throughout the summer it's a lot to do. I still have to do one more passing before the winter sets in to get these weeds really cleaned off. And but the weed cloth was just, you know, for now it's just another expense that, you know, we just can't do at the moment. So we're just gonna have to hold off, and, you know, for the time being I'm gonna have to just weed on my back, basically just let the hoe do its thing. And if you do it right, if you use the hoe and you don't let the weeds get too big, it'll be perfect. But once those weeds get too big, you're gonna have to use your hands, and you know, that's no fun, and, you know, it's a lot of work. But, you know, if you love what you do, you know, more power to you. Let me show you the end real quick, because I want to show you how we tied off the ends and some of the things I'm trying to do to kind of prevent the drip tape from blowing around. So let's take a look. So this is a good example of what the drip tape will do when there's high winds. They'll start to blow off of its row, and I've seen it so bad where it's almost completely off. And you know, it's just one of those things you just gotta, you know, kind of stay on top of. And it is a windy day, so I'm sorry if you hear a lot of wind. All right, so at the end of each drip tape, all I do is just tie it. You can buy these end connectors that will go at the end here, and you kind of just, you know, it's basically a cap. But, you know, tying it is just as easy. You'll probably get a little bit of drip coming out of there, but it's not a big deal. So when I see it like this, you see how it's all kind of like off the track because of the wind. So I just basically down slowly, straighten it out. So it's not that big a job. Better secure this. And one of the things I'm trying to do is kind of dig at the end. And cover it over a little bit. And it kind of holds it down. It's not 100%, but it'll prevent it a little bit from you know, it's just one more obstacle for the wind to blow. So just one little pointer, guys. So anyway, I pretty much showed you the basics of this stuff. I will have to get into more information with you guys in terms of the soil. You definitely want to make sure you get your pH right. You know, you want to be in that 4.8-ish range. We start off with a good low pH, so, you know, it's perfect for us. This is really sandy soil. This is like, you know, we're right close to the beach. We're 5 minutes away from the beach, so this is highly, you know, or low acidic soil, low pH I should say, and which is really great for plants. And of course we will be adding on wood chips to this, and that'll provide even better biomass for the plants, and I'll have to get into the whole thing about how I'm going to be, or what I'm going to be using for fertilizer, which will have to be a different video. So anyway guys, I wanted to at least show you a little bit of the blueberries, give you some information about what we did, and give you little pointers here and there. But that's pretty much it. So until the next time, I'll see you guys. Take care.